room. We unstoppable, no be lie. You.
You're muted.
Well, that'll help. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the chat room show. My name is Nancy Nanaya Sarapong, and I am your host for tonight. Lady Mary is away, but we are still going to have an interactive and educative and exciting time. So, welcome, everyone. If you're joining us, please share and join the conversation. Today we are having, we can go ahead and add our guests. Hello, welcome Auntie Nana, welcome Reverend Wisdom Robertson. It's exciting to have you all here tonight. Auntie Nana, you're not a stranger, so welcome back.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Go ahead and I'll have you introduce yourself, and then Reverend Wisdom can go after you.
Okay, my name is Nana Finn, and I've been on this chat room for a while now. I live in London. I'm a social worker by profession. I have 2 daughters. I'm an author as well because I wrote a book on domestic violence, and I'm always very happy to have these topical issues discussed.
Thank you, thank you, Reverend Wisdom. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Okay. Thank you for having me today. My name is Reverend Wisdom Robertson, social worker by profession and pastor by calling, founder of Believers Faith Global Ministries based in Romford in London as well. Married with 3 beautiful girls. Not planning to have more, no.
You don't want a boy?
No.
Like they always say, go and try one more for a boy. And then
It
be
might
a girl again.
end up having a football team of ladies.
Well, welcome. Thank you so much for accepting the call and being here this evening.
Thank you.
So, our topic for the month of November, we've been talking about family, Thanksgiving, and showing gratitude. Please, if you are joining us, go ahead and share, please. I'm trying to see if our Facebook is on, but okay, I think Facebook is on. Let me go ahead and tap in on Facebook. Give me one moment. I'm multitasking here today. So, all right, we're ready to go. So our topic today, we are talking about the importance of parents in the children's lives, the importance of a mother, importance of a father in raising up children. So, the saying that says that it takes a village to bring up children. And sometimes, depending on what the situation, it may not be, children may not have the opportunity to have both parents, a mother and a father in their lives, or even sometimes, neither of them are in their lives. They're being raised by a relative, family member, or even sometimes in the system. So we're just gonna talk about, the importance of the parent, a father's role, a mother's role, and how, if it makes any difference if one is missing or not, or if both of them are missing. So I will go ahead, and since Reverend Wisdom, you are the man, amongst women. Today, you are going to be, they say ladies first. It's going to be gentlemen first. So, if you can tell us your thoughts about the importance of, I would say, let's start with the father, since you are a guy with the three ladies in your house. So, go ahead and let us know what you think about the importance of a father's role in the home.
I believe the importance of a father in the home cannot be overemphasized. It is very important. Even if you read the book of Ephesians, Paul said fathers should not provoke their children. And if you go back to the book of Genesis, running down, I always say there are some things it's only a father that can do for a child. But yes, if you don't have a father, a mother can still play that fatherly role. So fathers are very important in the life of their children, especially the female children. In my profession, I always say, okay, my career, my profession, and my calling. And in my profession, I've come out. There's a young boy, even I've become like a father figure in his life, because that is all he's missing out on. Every week, I have to speak to him. Sometimes he says, "Oh, Wisdom, when are you coming? I want us to take a drive." And I sit back and I realize there is something missing in his life, the role of a father. So fathers play an important role in the life of the children. And even when God was giving the instructions, sometimes he gives it to the father. There were some of the instructions that goes to the father. This is what you have to do. These are the things as a father you can model for the family to see. So I believe that fathers have very important roles they play. Even if you look at Jacob, look at the pronouncement of the blessings over the life of the children as a father. And the blessings or the curses, whichever one is pronounced, follow these children throughout. So I believe every home, by the mercies of God and in the mind of God, we're supposed to have fathers and mothers. However, we don't always have it because of the work of the devil, because of the society, because of whatever goes on. But fathers play an important role in the life of children.
Okay, thank you. Auntie Nana, and I do have a follow-up question, but I'm gonna let Auntie Nana go ahead and
Okay.
as a mother, just touch on the importance of, and I'm sure, of course, okay. So we all know that each role is important, right? So what I actually want you to touch on is, can a mother, if a father's not in the home, can a mother take the role of a father, and vice versa? If a father's not, if a mother is not in the home, can a father take the role of a mother, and vice versa? If a mother is not in the home, if a father's not at home, can a mother take the role of a father?
Okay. What I can say is that it's as if it's a natural law whereby women naturally have caring responsibilities.
Mm-hmm.
And fathers are naturally born to provide in a home. But then in this growing world, the global world is changing, family structures are changing. Women sometimes find themselves having to be both the father and the mother. At the same time, parents could be living together in the family home, and the roles are reversed. Whereby the man is now the carer and the lady is now the breadwinner. So
Mm-hmm.
long as there is an understanding, it can happen. But what we need to realize is that there are specific roles and responsibilities as parents that we need to emulate for our children to be good citizens of the land, to have sort of values that they would live with for as long as they are alive. So the roles can be reversed. And it's interesting because if a father is not in the home and a woman has to play both roles, it could be through death, it could be through separation, or it could have been a single parent having a child and looking after them as a result of rape. It could be any reason that you find yourself in as a single parent. You should wear that badge as an honor because you have a child that you are raising. And when you are raising a child, you need to have that emotional support for the child because that is the basis for anyone, any child on earth. If you sort of look at how they have been raised, it goes a long way to build character formation.
Mhm.
A child is not necessarily saying both your mother and your father should be in the home to make the child sort of be very resilient and respectful. No, it's not that. It's the kind of love that you show towards that child, the kind of role model you sort of exhibit for that child to see. And it's a hierarchical system, but at the same time, you need to educate in the structure. You need to communicate in that structure to let the child also know that, look, I have a role in this family. My mother has a role, my father has a role, and I also have a role. But the only way the child would be able to exhibit that role is through the guidance and boundaries that will be given by the parent. It will be through the stability of the home for that child. If you cannot provide a roof over your children's head, you are causing this child to be extremely unstable. And when a child is unstable, it will be very difficult for them to settle and be able to achieve in school. So it's very important that the boundaries are not blurred. And unfortunately, if you don't find that traditional mother, father in the home, that is not the end of the world. It's how that parent, that single parent, exhibits support. And as you said at the beginning, it takes a village to raise a child. So if a father finds himself in a difficult situation, he can reach out to his wider family to see if they can support him. The school would support, the health system could support, and other support systems like the church in the community could also support.
Can I come in?
Thank you. Yes, go ahead and come.
I think this is a good question in the sense that I come from a single parentage. I grew up with my mom, my four siblings with my mom. But what am I saying is, for instance, one of the roles, if maybe fathers, I believe, places continuous teaching of these children. Bible says maybe train up a child in the way he should go. It has to be an intentional approach. Bible, God was talking to you and said, Abraham, whatever I teach him, I know he will teach his children. My dad wasn't there, but I am here as a pastor because of what my mom did. Apart from God and everything, because my mom will always make sure she goes to church to clean up the church. If you don't get to church, because before she leaves the church to come back home, the children, we have to make sure we are in church. My mom made sure we are always at church. There are some principles that my mom taught us when it comes to God. I didn't have a father. So the role reversal, definitely. And what I believe in, if there is one not there, automatically the one present takes up both roles. Automatically, that loving parent takes up both roles. There's no longer any distinction whether it is this the father's duty or this the mother's duty. So there's always that role reversal or switching of roles. Even there are homes that sometimes the women even become the men and the men are rather the women, based on our traditional understanding of the roles and responsibilities. And I have come to the point that I said, okay, I don't even believe that this is the role of a man in the home, this is the role of a woman in the home. let's run the family. How do we do to train up? Because when God was saying train up a child in the way he should go, it did not say mothers or fathers. It just says train up. Who does the training? Is both the man and the woman. How do we ensure, for instance, if it comes to children emulate what they see at home? If mother and father, you are gossiping, and you are telling your child, don't gossip, it's not going to work. They see what you do. They see what the mom and the dad does. So you training them, whatever you're doing is what the way you are training them. So if it's only a single mom or a single dad, I believe that role reversal is automatic. It is very automatic.
Mm.
Because I've seen women who are like fathers in the life of the children. I've seen fathers who are like women. There were times my daughters, when they were growing up, until they got to an age, I love to take them to shower. I love to be there for them. Up to now, I still love doing school runs. I enjoy it. But back home, they will have said, "Oh, the man shouldn't do that." I love school runs. I love it when I'm taking my princesses to school and picking them up.
Yeah.
Mm.
Can I add something?
Yeah.
The other way of looking at it is when a man or a woman is not in the home, and I've sometimes seen when parents separate, if it's not death, they are still around for the children. But because of the enmity or acrimonious relations the parents could be having, one parent who has the care of the children makes it very difficult for the parent that is not in the home to play that parenting role. And I always say that, look, children did not ask to be born. And if they are here on earth with us, then both parents need to step up the plate if they are alive. And the parent that has a full caring responsibility, and when I say full caring responsibility, the one that is the main carer for that child, should give the other parent that is not in the home the opportunity to be part of the child's life. It's very important for people, no matter what the relationship you have with your partner or your ex-husband or whatever you choose to call them, the child is not an ex to the father.
Yeah.
The child still has a bloodline with the father. And it's so important to continue that relationship with the father. But I can see, and I know through my profession, that certain women make it extremely difficult for the men to have that emotional connection with their fathers when they are out of the home. And it sort of has its repercussions for the child growing up, to the extent that sometimes they have to go through mental health as a wake-up call for the parents to know what is happening in their children's lives. And maybe that could be a topic for another time. But
Yeah.
the fact that you are not in the home does not mean your parenting capabilities and capacities should stop.
Okay. So we will take. I agree with you all, and I just have a little bit of a, I agree with what you're saying, but I also have a little bit of a different thought. And this question is actually going to get us to answer what I'm thinking. So the question says that, can a mother teach a son how to be a man? And can a man teach a girl how to be a woman? Reverend.
Absolutely, yes. It is very practical. For instance, a mother can teach a son how to be a man. A mother can look at a son and said, even, have you seen your dad abuse me before? Have you seen the way your dad does things at home? Have you seen the relationship between me and your dad? And this indirectly, you are teaching your son how to be a good man. It does not take a man to raise a man. Sometimes I would say even it can take a mother to make a son a good man very easy.
Okay.
Because she is presenting the son some practical things the son is saying. and said, imagine me if your dad is treating me this way, how would you feel? So I need you to be a good man to somebody else's daughter. So I even believe that it's very easy for a woman, because sometimes when the dad is even telling the son, sometimes it's difficult for them sometimes to take it.
Mhm.
And sometimes even the dad may have been doing something wrong already, and so he's not able to say it. But when the woman is teaching the son, it makes a lot more sense to the son that this is what my mom is saying. If my dad treats my mom this way, funny enough, like this morning, my daughters were asking me, "Oh, Dad, why is it that you are going on holiday with mommy?" So as I asked her, "What are you to me?" She said, "I said you are not my wife. You are my daughter, and I'm praying when you get married, you have children, your husband will take you alone on holiday." So now I'm teaching her to understand something. I'm teaching her, and when maybe it happens that way, she's not going to get angry with the mom. For instance, if maybe it is the mom trying to explain to her, she might not get it right. But I've explained to her, she gets the concept of it, that this is daddy and mommy time.
Mm-hmm.
And when it's your time, we go on a family holiday. So I strongly believe that a woman can teach a son how to be a man.
Okay. What's your thoughts, Auntie Nana?
I have a slightly different twist in the sense that a woman in a home, when you have a son, would tell the ladies, the daughters, wash the plates, lay the beds. The woman said, I'm not saying every woman does that, but sometimes certain women, when they have the son, dependent even on the positioning of the son in the family, oh my God, they are untouchables. They are their kings. They don't do anything. They produce a lazy brat, if I should use the word in quotes. This child is going to grow up and take it into somebody else's home, and that will be his home because he's going to find a woman. His expectations of the woman would be what he grew up with. And 9 cases out of 10, when you tell children certain things, they don't take it. Child development is such that they observe. Observation is key. How you carry on in the home as a parent is what the children see,
Yeah.
not what you say. Because
Mm-hmm.
what you say, depending on the child's developmental stage in growth, would be water off a duck's back. You say it, it goes out. But when they see consistency all the time, then they know this is the way to go. And 9 cases out of 10, they will not depart from it. And I've seen mothers thinking that the boys should not be doing much. My son has to be a doctor. My son is studying. The women are cleaning and doing all sorts. That's a shame. But then, what kind of son are you raising? There's nothing wrong with a son doing chores in the home. There's nothing wrong with a son cooking. There's nothing wrong with that. Because at the end of the day, you're empowering your son to be independent. In the same way, a man with their daughters. If you are a man and you have daughters, and your wife is your punching bag, your wife is someone that you are always going to emotionally abuse in the home, your daughters are looking at it. You're going to raise two daughters at the end of the day. You're going to raise a no nonsense wife, one who will take no bullshit from their husbands. Or you are going to take a very submissive, extremely submissive woman to be a wife to someone. And depending on that man, if he was raised by a woman and not raised to be independent, then we see a lot of abuse in the home. So, yes, it starts from the home. Raise children, raise your male sons as men. And when I say men, make them independent to be able to stand on their feet and look after their home. See your boys as future fathers and see your wives, your daughters as future wives. Teach them the tools of the trade of marriage because no one is going to give you a book as to how to be a good wife or a good father. But then it's the experiences you've had in your home, the experiences you've had in your wider family that you have observed and heard. It's how you are going to use as your yardstick into your home.
Okay. Yeah, that's great. Thank you both. Um, my thoughts on that is that I do agree that, a woman can take on the role of a man.
Mm.
And I do agree that a man can also take on the role of a woman in the home. But it's difficult to try to be both parents, to try to be a father and a mother,
Yeah.
especially to the opposite sex. Like if you're a mother to a son, if you're a father to a daughter, because there are some things that I have experienced as a woman that I can communicate based on my experience, not based on research, not based on just talking to somebody like secondhand account,
Mm-hmm.
based on firsthand account. So my communication will come out different. It will translate different to my daughter when I tell her that, you know, let's talk about period, right? My explanation about period to my daughter will be based on my experience and it will translate differently than my husband reading about period and talking to her about it. You understand? So it's very critical. Even though it's doable, we can all, with technology and all the access to information that we have nowadays, it's doable that we'll be able to, do it, teach it, right? But the actual experience goes a long way. It goes a long way. Boys, for example, teaching a boy to stand up to go to the bathroom. I've never done it. So I would have to research or find somebody to kind of like, because I have boys. So if my husband was not in the picture, that it would translate differently, right? So every role is very critical. It's, even though yes, it can be done. I've heard of stories where men are like, well, I didn't really grow up with a father, so I don't know how to, do this because I didn't get the hands-on experience. Teaching is different from hands-on experience. You know what I mean? So even though it can be done, yes, it can be done, but it's critical that each role, if possible, I mean, things happen and there are situations where, both parents cannot be in a room, in the house. But if they are all living, it's critical that we see that each role is needed. And I speak for, the parents that try to work against each other. Know that you're not, you think that you're hurting each other, but at the end of the day, you're really hurting the children.
Mm-hmm.
You're really hurting the children because they need the contribution of each parent. Even when it comes to, raising boys as a mother, my husband need me to show the boys how to treat women, and the opposite. My I need my husband to show my daughter what to expect from a man, what the treatment should look like. They take on more when they see you do it than you talking and trying to like teach them how to do it, right? It comes across better when they can see you put it in practice. So let's try as much as we can, if possible, to not go against each other and try to like eliminate each other from the picture when it comes to children, raising children. Because you can think that, oh, I can do it. I don't need this man. I don't need this woman. I can do this by myself. You know, you can, but really you do need each other. You do need each other. Okay,
Yeah,
so
but when you're in a
that's
situation when you don't have each other, then you need
when you
to
don't
do
have a
it.
choice.
You don't have a choice. But one thing I would say is sometimes women who are very bitter tend to get so angry with the way the situation they found themselves in and can take it on to the child. And sometimes too, they decide that because of the situation I found myself in, I'm going to do a better job at parenting. But then when we say the village would raise the child, the elderly people in the community can raise the child. And when the children go to school, education is also key. Education also teaches the children in so many ways. I mean, when we were in boarding houses back home, it helped us a lot. You could have been in a home where you had both parents and we had helpers to do things for us, but you learned very quickly in the boarding school because nobody was going to help you. We had subjects like home science, home management, which was a general subject up to Form 3. And we all learned so much in terms of developing yourself geared towards independence. So it's a matter of all of us coming together to educate and raise children. But the predominant responsibility is for the parents. And as I said, until death, both parents need to play a role in the child's life. Because even if it's not available, that child is yearning for the love of the absent parent. And it's for both parents to make sure that the child is not missing out.
Like, as we're looking at the whole thing, you have to be very intentional about raising your child.
Mhm.
We're saying it takes a village to raise a child. Yes, those days it takes a village. Those days, any man walking on the streets is your father. They can beat you. They can say, hey, this one.
Mhm.
But things have changed now.
Mhm.
We growing up and comparing to this Gen Zs, Gen Alphas, things have changed. So those days, the way children were raised, parents' involvement has to also have changed. How do you do? These days, they go from school, they come back home, they are with you. So it is only the outside voice, which is the school. Most times, they are always indoors. There are people, even they don't even know their next door neighbor now. Even Ghana is changed.
Mhm.
So the village no longer raises the child as we were growing, that anybody can do it. So we have to be, to ask a parent, if it comes to discipline, those times normally they say, oh, it's the fathers that discipline. The instructions, even if you read the Bible, actually, yes, it is the father's duty to instruct and to discipline the child. But things have changed. Like as you said, if the other is not there, if father is not there, the mother, are you going to say because the father is not there, I'm not going to discipline my child? My mom can look at, we were, like as I said, single, my mom looks at you in a way and yourself, you know that, listen, you better stop.
Mhm.
Or when she's close to you, she steps on your toes and you know, My dad wasn't there, but discipline. I am here, like as I'm saying, I'm here being a disciplined person because of the way my mom trained us. Ideally, in the mind of God, the plan of God is to have a man and a woman to raise the children up. That would have been the best and the easiest way. But if it's not there, the woman can still do it. I ask myself, okay, am I going to say because my wife is not there? For instance, if my wife is not there, am I not going to raise good daughters? Yes, I will. Whatever it takes for me to raise my daughters to be great, I will do it. If
And
it,
that's when family and the village comes in.
if it will, yes, if it will take me to go for courses, whatever I have to do, because if we hand behind it, oh, the man cannot do it, you cannot learn it, or yes, you can do it. it can be done. Because I've seen women who have raised up men who are great, and these guys are doing well. Me and my my other two brothers, by the grace of God, we are no women beaters. I'll say we are good men. It was my mom who raised us. She taught us how to be good men.
So have we, and just maybe being a little bit controversial here, have we noticed that maybe women can do the job better than men?
I wouldn't want to say women can do the job better than men
Sometimes.
because it's your perspective that someone
Okay.
is doing the job better than the other. The most important thing is to raise a well-rounded, confident child that is going to always have your voice as the backdrop wherever they are.
Okay.
So that they would hear your voice even when you are not in their presence. That, oh my God, I cannot join this because if mom sees me doing this, she wouldn't like it. If dad sees me doing this, she wouldn't like it. What we need to realize is that it's always good to have two parents in the home. But when you have a toxic mom, and I say a toxic dad in the home, you might as well raise your children on your own.
Oh, mother.
And there's no disrespect to any parent here. It's a matter of if you are in an extremely abusive relationship and your children are struggling and you can see it, there's no point staying together for the benefit of your children because you raise up very destroyed children, if I should put it this way. You raise up children that are so, I don't want to use the word mental, but they are emotionally lacking in a lot of ways. And you expose them to the mercy of their peers in the streets.
Yeah.
Because you are not there. Or you cannot. I've seen women trying to correct their children and they saying, how dare you try to stop us when you could not even stop dad from doing A, B, and C. So we have that. And wisdom would tell you we go into homes predominantly, about 99% of our intervention with families borders down around family functioning and what is not working well. And that's where we go and assess to make sure we try and get things right for the family. And you can tell if a home is not the best, and you can see a mother trying to protect the father. She may have various reasons for wanting to do that, but we come in with a lens of how is the child feeling in this environment and what can we do to make it better for this child. So I think parenting is a very important role, whether you are two or whether you are one. Take your parenting role very seriously because you're going to raise a child that will not be able to sit well in the community in future.
From a spiritual point of view, God in his own infinite wisdom, when you are alone, he will give you the grace to pull through. Because God knows, for instance, this man has left you or this woman has left you. That child is precious in the sight of God. They are quivers in the arrow of God. God still has a destiny for that child. So God is not going to allow the absence of that man or that woman for this child's life to be destroyed. So whatever grace you need for you to be able to function, for you to raise up this child the way God wants it, God will grant you the grace for you to be able to do it. Because God needs to shoot that child to a level. But he himself is not going to be around to say, do this, do that. He can only do that through a woman or through that single man. So God will give you that grace. It's a special grace God endows on everyone. But if both men and women are there, it's different. The man has got his grace, the woman has got her grace. But if it's only one, God will give you the grace to be able to accomplish that vision and mission.
Yes, I totally agree. There have been so many women and men that have been able to do it and raise successful, good citizens. But I just want to hone in on the fact that there are also many out there who needed both parents in the homes, right? It is possible for it to be done. Yes, anything that you put your mind to, you can achieve. But thank God that I have not been in a situation. Sometimes when I, in life and just raising children and work and everything, if I was doing it as a single mother, I have 3 children, 2 boys and a girl. If I was doing it, I appreciate the help of my husband because sometimes I'm like, this is hard. This is hard. So I, for single parents, I respect them a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And people who are even like doing it separately, like, they're still a father
Co-parenting.
and mother, but, you're doing it from separate homes. That's still difficult. It's anything can be done. When you are in a bind, you will make it work. But both roles are so important that I don't want it to be, overlooked saying that, oh, well, I heard that I can do it. So let me just go ahead and, eliminate the other person so I can do it because they're getting on my nerves or they're annoying or whatever the case. Whatever you can do, unless if it's in a, in a situation where safety is compromised, whatever you can do to have both parents, because, like we're saying, each role is essential. It's essential in raising up children. Yeah, we have the strength. Somebody said that, the village is no more. Unfortunately, Dr. Ferdinand said the village is no more. Unfortunately, both parents are having 2 voices in the house because one is going the opposite way. And this effect is very destructive and detrimental to the mental and physical development of the children, which is true. You don't want toxic relationships. You don't want to introduce your children into something that is toxic. So if that's the situation, then yes, please try as much as you can to remove that toxicity from the home. As much as we're saying that it is important, I think the primary thing is if you have a healthy relationship with the mother and the father and y'all can work together, best way to raise children. If situations doesn't present that way, then you do what you can with your village if you have a village. If you don't have a village, please research. One thing that we should not do is ignore raising our children. What do I mean by that? You're at work. You come in, you sleep, you go to work. You check on the children. Have you eaten? Have you done your homework? Okay, mommy's going to sleep. Daddy's going to sleep. I have to wake up to go to work. There's no attention being given to the children. And this is prominent in single family homes, unfortunately. Because you have to be the mother, you have to be the father, you have to pay bills, you have to do this, you have to do this, you have to do this. So that the children become second thought. And that's when basically they're raised by their peers. They're raised by TV. They're raised by outsiders. Right? So let's do as much as we can to keep both parents involved if we can.
Yeah.
And can I just something as you were talking? For me, for instance, I saw the impact and know if I grew up from a healthy, maybe family, it would have been much better. But I don't dwell in it. It is past. Paul said, I press on towards the goal.
Yes.
So what I have done, and with the help of God, is I am working everything I can, doing the best in my ability to make sure me and my wife stay together.
Mm.
Even if I don't need to say sorry, I'll have to say sorry. Because I believe having two together is best.
Yeah.
But if the other happens, God will give you the grace. But I saw the effect and the impact of growing up with just a man, and I have purpose in my life that my children will grow up with a father and a mother in the home.
Okay. And I'll tone in again on what Wisdom has said, in the sense that if you find yourself in a situation where you are a single parent and you have the opportunity to communicate with your ex-partner, for the sake of the children, put your differences aside and let the children have the best life.
Yeah.
We hold our children's hands for a short while, especially those of us in the Western world. The children move on. When children live in homes that are not very happy, when they go to university, they decide to stay in the area where their university was. They don't come home. But a child that knows that home is a place where you miss when you are away, they would always come back. But when they want to just flee from the home they have known to make their own sort of life out there, then it's difficult. And don't think you can do it all. Nobody can do it all. And when you talk about village, I'm exercising caution to talk about the village, because the context of village that we used to know is not the world we are living in now. And don't make that mistake, because that village does not exist. That village could help you lose your children. So you need to be very careful who the village you are referring to. We have brothers, we have sisters. If you're struggling for advice, get it from them. They know your situation. They may stand in and help you out. We have churches, and I say churches quite loosely, because churches can also be the bane of families.
Yeah.
Because predominantly when you look at churches, it's filled up with, there are more women in churches praying than men. Maybe the stats could be changing in certain churches, but most churches that I know of, women are praying. And I've been on prayer lines where they are calling you almost every 3 hours to join a prayer. When do you have time for
To do
your
anything
family?
else.
Exactly, for anything else. So it's for you to have your boundaries and your guidance. And if
Yes.
you can control yourself and your children know that you are in control, as is said in James, there are no reed that they are going to sway anywhere the wind would blow them. The home is the crucible for ensuring that you nurture and raise the children, be it single or double. If it's a two-parent household and you have different views about parenting, you might as well be a single parent. Because at the end of the day, there's more conflict in the home that the children are being exposed to. If the parents cannot sing from the same hymn sheet in parenting, then they have a problem. Then they should discuss indoors or away from the ears of their children, because children are very smart to play parents, because they children push boundaries by nature.
Oh,
So
yeah.
you need to put the boundary there. So if they realize that the goalposts can be pushed when they have their way. Why do we have children, 2-year-olds, stamping their feet in a shopping mall because they want something? And then it reduces grown-up women into tears, or you have another woman who's going to grab your arm, look you in the eye, and say, keep moving. And two outcomes. One breaking down, one calling the shots. It's how you raise them.
Yeah.
I have had my daughter play a tantrum in a supermarket mall, jumping. I started jumping. It was a matter of, let's see who can do it better. It got to a point she was admiring me. She stopped. Game closed. She never did it again. Because if that's how I'm going to get through to you, by my actions, then you are going to observe it. You're not having your way by stamping your feet. But you're going to have your way by asking me, and I'm going to dialogue with you. Do you think you really need it? We'll get it next time. But for today, this is my shopping list. Showed it to her. We ran it through it, and she had the basket, and she was now picking the things into it. So it's how you raise the children is very important. We make excuses that the world of today, but it's your home. You are in control of that home, nobody else. If
Yeah.
you give outsiders the chance, they'll come and rule it for you. But whilst you have the chance to rule your home, please rule it wisely and stop blaming outsiders for what is happening in your home. Have a reflective time in your home as a parent. Where am I going wrong with my children? All these children running routes in the community. If mothers and fathers would sit down and begin to play back where we went wrong, maybe they'll stop blaming
Yeah.
and find solutions within themselves.
Yeah. 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 Absentee. That's what I was talking about. Absentee parents. You
Yeah.
know, you're there, but you're not really there.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we don't talk to our children. And really, there's a difference between talking to your children and
Mm-hmm.
talking at your children. If you're talking to someone, you have a conversation. It's a two-way conversation. They talk, you listen, you talk, they listen. You know, it's an exchange.
Yeah.
It's an exchange. It's a conversation. You know, we do more of do this and 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 do that. And you're not allowed to give feedback. Go and do it. You know, my experience, that doesn't work for children.
Mm-hmm.
They don't really learn anything from that, from your instructions. Give them the opportunity to ask questions and then respond to their questions. You know, sometimes they're just curious. They want to know, you know, like how children are always like, oh, why? But why? But why? And you're like, because I said so. You know, that's natural because I told you to do it, so go do it. You know, sometimes we feel like we're the parents and we know the best and we don't have to. But if you give them the opportunity to listen to what they're saying and actually respond, that gives
Mm-hmm.
them clarification.
Mm-hmm.
Why do you want me to stay home and I can't go to my friend's party? Because I don't know your friend. I don't know who their parents are. I don't know if it's a safe environment. You, as my child, I cannot allow you to go somewhere that I do not know if you're going to be safe. I think that's better than saying, because I don't want you to go and I want you to stay home.
But a typical example is even having someone in the home. Get this for me. Get what? Oh, you are pointing at the thing, but you cannot say the thing.
You
And the
cannot
child
say
is asking you
anything.
what? You know, it's interesting because parents will talk at their children. And I'm
Mhm.
not saying that there are times in life where you should not talk at them because you need to instill the kind of boundaries you want. But you need to be very clear in your guidance so the child would have an understanding of why I'm being punished or
Mhm.
why mommy wants things done this way. For
Mhm.
instance, if you have to, so I learned very early on with my kids because they would finish playing, leave toys in the living room. I would take them, we go through the bedtime routine and put them to bed. Then I will come to the sitting room and pick up after them. And I remember I took them to the library. It was just a play thing in the library that they were organizing. And it was a way of getting children to quickly pick up after them. It's whilst you want them to wind up, play any of their nursery rhymes or anything, and until it finishes. So whilst it's playing, I'm going to play the song. We'll be picking up after us to put in the box. Let's see how fast we can do it before the music ends. It became a chore that they learned through play. And then later on, it became part and parcel of what they do. So they learned to pick up after them. But we have very erratic parents. 1 minute they are saying one thing, the next minute they are saying another thing. In my household, sleepovers was a no-no. It never happened, and thank God it's not going to happen. They are all adults now, so it never happened. And the reason for why it never happened stemmed out of my social work role, because I went into so many homes where the abuse was not by the parents, the homes the children went to, but it was either a brother or an uncle who was also in the home that I, the parent, do not even know. I may know the mom, I may know the dad, but I do not know that brother or uncle in that home. And most of those children got abused that way. So for me, sleepover was a no-no. But sleepover in my house was a yes. So if my child could not go, you could come.
Yeah.
Blowing up the bed in the home and making it an enjoyable experience was okay for me. So I met my child halfway.
Yeah.
But that child, that friend's home, you were never going to sleep there. But they could come and sleep in your home. And if that was not enough for you, then it's a no.
Okay, so like as you were saying, children that we raise, most times they learn through modeling what we model to them, especially Black parents. Oh, my daughter get this in for me. You don't say thank you, but you want them to be saying thank you to you. For me, when I ask my child, please, can you get me something? When they bring, I say, oh, thank you. So the next time she also knows that if I give her something, she needs to say thank you. So children don't do what we say, but it's what we do. So they model a lot. And then we are trying to train them, especially in UK. Oh, children abroad, we don't do this, we don't do this. No, there is a place for discipline. There is a place for setting boundaries. And they have to know this is it. And sometimes you have to even negotiate with them. If there's a way, like as Nana said, there are times you have to negotiate. There are times you just have to make sure the boundaries are set. The goalposts cannot be shifted. And I give you the reasons why, because they will always push the boundaries to see if mom or dad is going to shift. They know, but they are pushing. So sometimes as a parent, you must always make sure that no, this is how it is.
Yeah.
I've given you all the explanations. So unfortunately, it's not going to happen. So I believe that as parents, number one, let's model the right thing for them at home. You are training them, you are teaching them. Sometimes, listen, you sit down at the dining table. You have to be very intentional. You are eating together, you're asking questions. Speak to the children. Create a lovely environment that even at school, they are yearning to come back home. But if after school, they don't want to come back home, then there is something. But create a lovely environment for them. Model things for them. Teach them. You are the one guiding them. Don't leave them. The outside voice is very loud. The noise outside is louder than the house.
Yeah.
The so-called village we have now is louder than the house. And if you don't take time, you might find your child involved in county lines. Find your child doing things that you don't want. So we have to make sure the home environment is very conducive for them. You discipline them, but they will come back home. The fact when Paul was talking about don't provoke them, he wasn't saying don't discipline them. Discipline them, but don't provoke them. There is a place for discipline. There is a place for setting boundaries. There's a place for modeling godly behavior to your children. You wake up, they see me praying, they see me reading the Bible. I'm not saying, and I wake up every morning, 6, 7, before they go to school, we do quiet time. We do the quiet time because, and then sometimes they come, they see daddy is praying. So if I'm telling you pray or study the Bible, or even telling them to study or to read their books, they know that daddy is also doing his. So let's model things to them. So we have a part to play. We have important roles to play in the home. When it comes to teaching them, disciplining them, helping them to know God, whatever, preparing them for independence, there is a lot we have to do. And we have to be there for our children.
Yeah.
And in the Bible as well, if I should say something, people sort of take things out of the Bible and would say, just as you said, with the fathers would not provoke their children. There was a prelude and the consequences. It's always in the Bible. But sometimes we just take something and then we think that is what it is. Every time I hear that, do not provoke your children, what comes to mind is, if a father is always abusive to a mother in a home, for instance, and the child is observing all the time, it will not take long where one of the days when you raise your hand to the woman, your son holds your hand. You've provoked that child to be disrespectful to you. And if you are in a household where you are instilling the Christian life in your children, and we have the commandment of do not disrespect your parents, but you've provoked your child to the extent where you put them in that
They
situation.
disrespect you.
Exactly. What kind of home have you raised for your child?
Yeah.
That child is emotionally going to be damaged because that child knows I should never have raised my hand to my dad, but he provoked me. And now I have to live with the emotional torture of my actions.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's why I said at the beginning, if you know you're in a toxic home and it's not going to augur well for the well-being or parenting of your children, I'm begging you, leave that environment.
Yeah.
You make your children good citizens of whatever land they are living in.
Yeah. Yeah. That's very important. Let me read a comment. Henry Champon says, you should teach your kids both. You don't want to bring up a child who grows up kicking against every rock on opposing everything. At the same time, you don't want to raise a docile child who grows into an adult who does not ask any questions. Give the opportunity to ask questions, but at the same time, they should also understand that they just have to do it because you said because you said it.
There must always be that balance. There
There
must
has to
always be
be.
that balance.
Yes.
There are times, like as I'm saying, I was saying it. My child, they know that there are some things it's a no.
Mm.
Yeah.
It is just a no.
Yeah.
Because I've explained it to you already. So those sometimes they try to push the boundaries, but I said, unfortunately, it's a no. But there are times too, you raise them up, giving them, listening to them, explain few things to them, you can have it. For instance, if a 2-year-old child comes to you or a 1-year-old, give me a knife. The fact that I love you doesn't mean I should give you the knife. It's a no.
Mm.
Yeah.
It's a no, because if I give you that knife, I love you, but that knife will harm you. So it's a no. Like as she said, my children know sleepover. Don't even come and ask me because it's a no.
Mm-hmm.
So we've crossed that bridge already. So they will not even come and ask. The next one they might ask is, oh, can our friends come around? Then I need to now explore about those friends, because when they come as well, what are they coming? What are they bringing into my home? Sometimes even things can happen under your own roof.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes I said, listen, even if I am not sure, those people are not coming either. And if the need be that I will have them, you are not sleeping in the same room. No, you are not sleeping in the same room, whether you are the same sex or not in the same room, because you don't know what has happened to that person. Maybe that person may have been abused in a way. You think your home is now a safe haven. They come to your home under your own roof. They are abusing your children. It could be a female or another female. So when it comes to those ones, even if their parents are, if there's a situation that warrants me to help them, they will come in but not sleeping in the same room.
Yeah. It's important to know the people that you are around and the people that you trust. For me, when it comes to sleepover, if it's a schoolmate, some random person that I don't know, or even like somebody we go to church with, if I don't really know your home, it's a no.
Mm-hmm.
But I would let them go places I trust, because sometimes I need a break. Sometimes me and my husband need a break. So if it's, thank God that we have, between me and my husband, we have a big family. So they can go to their siblings, my siblings or his siblings' houses. But also, my best friend has the same age children as mine. We both have 2 boys and a girl. And, they like to be together. I trust her home. So, I would let my children go there because I trust her home. I know the kind of person that she is and how she raised her children, right? She's godmother to one of my kids. So she can raise my children. I'm good with that because I know the kind of person that she is. So those type of people, I will let my children, have a sleepover, and their children can come over here and sleep over too, because, the children like to have people in the house. And again, they need their mates. And then I need to know how they associate with them when they are together. too. So those ones I'll allow for sleepover. Everything else, they know. They're not even gonna ask. They know that we don't do that. Your friend is having a sleepover at school. We're not part of it. So they have an understanding. But what I wanted to touch on is being able to Reverend Wisdom raised a good comment on raising being able to raise children to be independent.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to touch on that a little bit because that's very essential. Eventually, the children that you're raising have to leave the house.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to prepare them to be able to survive out there. Sometimes we tend to shelter our children and, we don't want to talk about what's going on outside because we feel like ignorance is bliss. And if they don't know, then it will not affect them. But once you release them to the world, then they'll be learning all these things that you should have been teaching them at home, outside. What am I talking about? I'm talking about when it comes to like sex. I'm talking about when it comes to even like violence. I'm talking about when it comes to just interacting with people and have to even have a conversation. I've noticed that, in this Gen Z world that we're in, the children don't know how to talk to each other. Like literally, they don't even know how to like talk on the phone.
Text
Like
message.
my children will answer the phone on like speaker. And I'm like, why are you answering the phone on speaker phone? That's like natural. Somebody call, they put them, I will call, and they put me on speaker. So the first thing I ask is, am I on speaker? Because that's like their mode. Because what if it's something I want to say that I don't want the people that are around to hear? They're so used to just tumming everything that they don't know how to have a conversation. That when somebody even literally try to hold the conversation with them, they're kind of like, why are you talking to me? But these are all things that as parents we should be teaching. We shy away from, especially when it comes to that sex topic. We don't want to touch it. But who are they supposed to learn it from? School? We depend so much on what they are being taught in school. We depend so much on it that we're like, oh, school got it. No, school is not going to raise your children. You are responsible for raising your children. You have to have the conversation with them. If you don't, that friend is going to have the conversation and give them misinformation. It's very important. Auntie Nana, you can go ahead.
Yeah, I was just going to say that's the conversation. If you have a female daughter, to have that conversation very early with her. For me, there was no time or age. Right from the onset, your private parts are your private parts. Nobody touches it. I used to tell my daughters, Daddy cannot even touch it. Daddy cannot even touch it. There are no secrets.
Yeah.
Let nobody keep secrets with you. It was clear. So the private part, you don't keep secrets. You let the children know that nobody can touch it. So if I'm even when I used to wash my kids at the stage where I realized I was teaching them how to bath, when I give the sponge to her and I say, wash your private parts. I was trying to let her know that it's for you to do that. Nobody else does that for you. And that's how sort of you raise them. And coming to this topic of getting sex, you're waiting for school. School will teach you the level of sex that will not go into the details of how to protect your child. I remember telling my children very early that there's safety in numbers. Because I observed certain children when they couldn't fit, and most of our children sometimes were in environments where they found themselves to be maybe the only Black child or something, and therefore they didn't have their numbers, but they had friends. So make sure that wherever you go, you don't stick out. You are with them. If you are in that community of friends, do not isolate yourself because you place yourself more at risk. and that was for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
So just make sure that you stay in numbers. And if you cannot do that, stay where you are and pick up the phone and call your mom to come and pick you up. But to raise independent children in the community is to allow our children to do things for themselves. We have grown up in a world where when our children are climbing trees, it's health and safety. When our
Mm-hmm.
children are crossing the road, it's health and safety. See me doing somersaults on the trees. What happened to me?
Someone
Backward.
saw
What
on the whole
happened to
tree.
me? So when you have a tree in your back garden, why can't your child fall? And when your child falls, they'll pick themselves up. Even watch babies. When a baby falls and you exclaim, the baby starts to cry.
Mm-hmm.
If a baby falls and you look on,
And you
as
don't
if
react.
nothing has happened, they look
Mm-hmm.
around, they pick themselves up. And I keep asking myself, what made that baby actually cry? Was it the yell? Was it the shouting? What made the baby cry? So it's instilling resilience at an early stage. But we've reached the world. Children are going to school because we watch our children sleep. We wake them up at a particular time. They come and sit down. Breakfast is on the table. Hey, lucky you. You'll be running to school with nothing to eat if you don't take care. Because everything is there. My parents have provided everything. But you are going to make your own breakfast.
Yeah.
The days where, I mean, Saturday was a given where my dad did breakfast with the whole family and we looked forward to it. But Monday to Friday, my household, our household was extremely busy. So the helper would have breakfast. But if you are waiting for that breakfast to come and find its way onto that dining table, then know that when the car is moving to take you to school, you are going on with an empty stomach.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
have to, we have to get our children to do things for themselves, begin chores in the home. That is raising an independent a child. And in
Mm-hmm.
the same way, if you have a male child, you have a female child, get them to do things. Don't think that this task is for a man and this task is for a woman. Just, it's growing up. It's toughening you up. Be independent.
I want to say, add to what you've said so far, especially as you are preparing them for independence. I always say, as parents, we have to equip our children with the wisdom and the morals. Not only the wisdom, the morals, the values for them to make these godly decisions when they become independent. Because sometimes they get to a stage and they're at a crossroad. They don't even know the decision. It's because you, the parents, you've not taken the time to teach them, to provide them with the wisdom, with the knowledge, with the values from maybe from the Ghanaian community. What are some of the values that we hold in high esteem? From the Christian perspective, what are the Christian values? What are the Christian knowledge? Anytime I'm doing morning devotion with them, the question I ask them, so even when they are praying, they say, so that we can apply it to our lives. Father, help us so that anytime we learn whatever we learned, we can apply it. How do you teach these children these values, this wisdom? All that is listed in the Bible. Because in Deuteronomy chapter 6, it says, and these words which I command you today shall be in your heart. He says, you shall teach them diligently, the word diligently, to your children, and shall talk to them when they sit in your house, when you walk by the way, when you lie down, and when you rise up. So Bible is saying that we have to be intentional in equipping our children with values, with the word of God, so that they can make good decisions. They will not be with you all the time. Even Jesus himself said this in the book of John. Said, I am leaving you, but the Holy Spirit will come and will be resident in you,
Mm-hmm.
so that you can make the right decision, because you will not have me anymore. I'm
Yeah.
going to go away. But so Jesus in the book of John chapter 14 to chapter 16, he prepared them for independence.
Yeah.
He prepared the disciples, which were his children, for independence. So why parents, we have to be very intentional to prepare our children for independence. If Jesus had not prepared them from chapter 14 verse 1, he says, don't be troubled, fear not. But then chapter 16 verse 33, the last verse, he said, in this way you go through many tribulations, but take heart, for I have overcome the world. So he has prepared them. So even when he was not around, the Holy Spirit came upon them. They
They
were
were good to
prepared for
go.
independence. So
Mm-hmm.
let's make sure we equip our children with the wisdom, the knowledge of God, the values that you esteemed, the values that you cherished. What are you not teaching your children? the value of chastity, the value of you don't have to insult adults. You can't do what some children think that, oh, it's good to just insult adults on the street, misbehave towards adults. But you as a parent, you know it's not right. Are you teaching your child those values? So
Yeah.
as parents, one of them, I always say one of the most important things, let's equip our children with values, morals, wisdom, and the knowledge of God so that they can make the right decision. Because when they misbehave, this is sad, but for instance, there was this Anglican priest, bishop, that lost her position as an Anglican bishop because her child murdered somebody. Yes. And sometimes even when your child is arrested, it can affect your bishopric because they believe that you are raising you are a pastor over a whole church. If you
You
cannot
can't control
raise,
your own home.
if you cannot raise your own children, what about the whole congregation? So we have to make sure that we equip our children so that they make the right decisions in future. When your children are misbehaving outside, you know whose child is this?
Yeah.
Mr. Robertson. If my children, my daughter won the best student award, oh, I was at the back, I was enjoying clapping. Why? But if imagine they are naming and shaming her, I'm sure I will have wished for the F to open to get in there, but I don't want that to happen to me. So I will make sure I teach them the wisdom, the right values, and the morals.
Yeah, and wisdom, just to add to this, I mean, as parents, we are not always going to get it right. We have no, our guide is in the Bible, to be fair, but then not everyone is going to use the Bible as their guide. But you need to learn to be adaptable. You need to be able to adaptable. It's not your way or the highway.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you need to hear the children out as well.
Mm-hmm.
You need to listen to them.
Yes.
And you have the power of observation. You know your child. Make sure that you don't push your child into the arms of strangers who will then capitalize on them and abuse them and use them for their own ends. So parents need to get that balance. Make sure that you do not lose your children. And we have talked about parents, but as I said, the elephant in the room for a lot of Ghanaian parents or African parents are the parents who are literally in the church 24/7. What did lockdown teach us? That we could pray.
That part.
We could pray in our homes and be with our children. You leave the home at the time your children come from school. You are not at home. You don't receive your children. And for some parents, if they are working nights, when the children are coming home, they are going into bed, the food is in the kitchen, they've gone into the bedroom. Be intentional. Make time for your children so that the children also know that they matter. Children of today, there was a time when you have a book and everybody's trying to look for that book. But now it's on their phones, gadgets in the palms of their hands, where they're even asking Meta AI and the likes of Copilot, everything. How do you move? How do you make this? It's telling you. Why are you not supervising your children?
Yeah.
Why are you not going into the history of these gadgets that you think is a mystery to you? Because, oh, the children of today, we don't even know how they use the computers. They are so good. Praising them. Have you learned? Why can't you learn it as a parent? If I cannot learn anything, I want to know where the history of your gadget is. So that when you go to bed, your password is no stranger to me. Give me your password. It's non-negotiable. At a stage in their life, not when they're 17, 18, I want their password. Because if I want their passwords at 17, 18, and I got it wrong somewhere along the line. But their passwords, I need to know. As I said at the beginning, no secrets.
Yeah.
I would take your phone and I'll say, oh, I just want to look at it. But I'm going to look at the history button because I will never mention that I'm getting the information from history. But I know every site you've gone to search. And I'll find a way of having a discussion with you the next day about it.
And go through those text messages.
I have time for that. I even used to go through my children's school bags because sometimes, notes are put in bags where children are writing to friends in the classroom and hiding it under the table and giving it to the other child. It ends up in the child's school bag, forgetting that it should have gone into the bin before they walked out of the school premises.
Yeah.
So when they come home, and I put them to bed, then the school bag belongs to me. I go through the school bag, I pray over the school bag, and that's how we go. We pray over them. Know your children, be in their lives. A parent that is absent is absent. The one that is present, raise that child the way they need to go. Do not hide under the saying of I'm a single parent. A single parent is not a badge of honor. A married parent is not a badge of honor. God has given you responsibilities and you are doing it with pride. Do it.
Yeah.
That's how I see it. Do it.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you all so much. If this is a hot conversation, if we say we're gonna say everything that's on our mind and everything that we want to say, we will be here till daybreak. But I want to thank you all, and also I want to thank the viewers and that have been contributing. Thank you, Dr. Ferdinand Lawson. Thank you, Henry Champong. Thank you, Vivian Yako. Thank you, Liam Gonzalez. Thank you to Diakisi Diak. I think that's what the name says. I'm sorry if I'm butchering your name. Thank you, Gigi Ambrek. And then thank you to Yada Bangura. Thank you all for tuning in, and everybody else. There's a lot of people watching on YouTube. Thank you all for joining in. It's been a great conversation, and I hope that we took something out of this, at least one thing to apply it to your parenthood, or one thing to teach someone, one thing to you're a parent, teach your children how to parent. So I mean, it's a teachable moment and time for all of us. It is a hard task to raise another human being, but it is a responsibility that God knows that you can do. God blessed you with children because He has given you the power and the ability to be able to bring them up the way that they should go, so they will never depart from it. Take that seriously, and please, do not neglect your children. Do not, sometimes unknowingly and knowingly put them in harm's way. They are all of our future, so do your best. And thank you, Auntie Nana. Thank you, Pastor Wisdom, for accepting the call and for being here. I'm sure that this will not be the last time. I'm sure that we will meet again. So thank you so much. God bless you all for tuning in.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Stay safe and continue the task of parenthood. God bless you and thank you. Have a good day.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yo, now you matter with it talk. Your life, your wahala, your breakthrough, the day. Welcome to the chat room. This no be ordinary place. Now a solution, they show face. Lady Mary, they lead the way. With guess where go blow your brain. Talk your matter, make we solve them. No judgment, just love and wisdom. We did discuss, we did learn. Every episode you go feel the burn. Oh, the chat room. Now here we define the way. Oh, the chat room. Oh yes. We go talk and clear, no delay. No delay. Oh, it's interactive, educative, informative, and unapologetic. Oh, the chat room. We unstoppable, no be lie. You, hey, the chat room. Hey, now here we define the way. We the chat room. We go talk and clear, no delay. No delay. It's interactive, educative, informative, and unapologetic. The chat room. We unstoppable, no be lie. chat room. We unstoppable, no be lie.